My father was an educator, but he was also a self-taught man. So he had that desire for education himself. And when he found himself in the village as a farmer, he didn't want me to continue that life. And I'm the eldest in my family. And he said, I want you to have a better life than myself. Go, and education is the route that opens the door to the future.
And stories like Teame's, who has given a huge contribution to British life, and not just British life, but he describes himself as a global educator, and that is exactly what he is.
So about 30 years ago he came and spoke to nearly 200 sixth formers, and that made a really deep impression on them.
So one thing he really highlights is the importance of a teacher and how that can completely change your life. I mean, his life was changed by the teachers that he had, and he's gone on to impact so many people's lives.
We used to sing a song which we called Nutum Hirti, which literally means go and look for education, because that is the greatest wealth. So all these values were embedded in us as through our teachers, through the education system, through the belief of the people, and more importantly through the desire of my father. The family unit being the most important pillar of the social fabric. There was a lot of love, very little to eat, but a lot of happiness.
So I think they've shown us how to live life with its various challenges in a way that's totally undaunted, and I hope that we can emulate them one day. But both our parents, we're very, very proud of them, and we're very grateful that Dad has got to this point.
Before that time, there was always this simmering anger about the annexation of Eritrea by Ethiopia, and most Eritreans felt they had to defend for their independence.
Quite difficult to understand all the various nuances of Eritrean culture, the different names, the different ways of doing things. But to me, I found it utterly fascinating. When during the Marxist regime led by Colonel Mengistu, a close colleague of Teame's was assassinated.
One day he came, this is after Petros' assassination, 2 statements. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. We're not going to meet up again. And that was a clear enough message for me to realize that I was next.
And I think success stories need to be highlighted. Dr. Teame is a success story.
I had nowhere to go, but these friends helped me to find a shelter. And becoming an asylum seeker was one of the most difficult experiences that I went through in my life. I said, I'm not going to claim any money from a pot that I didn't contribute into. It's a matter of principle. Of course, I had a quarrel with my family, with my wife. What do you want to do with the children? And I also wanted to face the challenge, because challenges in life, in fact, sharpen you, empower you to become stronger. I thought initially, I think it was essentially to protect my self-respect, self-dignity.
As we talked, I discovered how Teame had become a global citizen with a vision of how all people can contribute to a more peaceful world.
I ended up becoming a JP, Justice of the Peace, the first black man in the face, and which caused a lot of laughter in some instances, but it didn't matter. I did the job.
Now, I'm not sure that Teame became a better man than his father, because I didn't know his father.
I am British to all intents and purposes, because I have developed this multiple identity. Teame the Eritrean in one situation, I can be Teame the British at another situation, I can be Teame the Eritrean British. These are this multiplicity of identities that we have to develop in order to make our cultural diversity viable. And make this country your home. Accept it and adhere to its codes of life, codes of ethics, whatsoever. Try to integrate. Don't create a little Eritrean community, a little Pakistani community, Somali community there. Integrate with your host society. What does living with a difference mean? Living with a difference means learning how to live with your next door neighbor, irrespective of color, religion, gender, whatever, educational background, creating that friendship between you and the next door neighbor. That is what living with a difference means.
The impact he made in assisting many students, numerous individuals, is huge.
Stories are powerful, but they have to be heard in the right way, by the right people, at the right time. Now, a lot of people in British society at the moment are not hearing this story of the exemplary person who migrated from the Horn of Africa.
You know, he's a proud Eritrean, but a world citizen. And this, to me, is a sign of the way that people coming into this country from others can actually contribute, not just to their own host community, the new host community, but also to a better sort of world.
If you are a refugee, if you define yourself as a refugee from country X in this country after having lived for 40 years, learn how to live with a difference. Be a refugee with a difference.